Hey guys, today I got a 2011 Ford Fiesta that has a bunch of different transmission problems. And no, it's not related to the clutch, and it's not related to the seals leaking. It's actually on the electrical side, and there's a bunch of different symptoms, and I'm going to go over all of them that are happening. And what the end result is that the actual trans control module on here is faulty internally. These are pretty common on 2011 Ford Fiestas. It's the first year of the dual clutch system, and they're quite common. They exhibit the same kind of concerns as the other video I was talking about, where there's all kinds of random electrical issues with the transmission that are due to the grounds. Well, this one's already had the ground issue taken care of, and the concerns still are there. So we're going to go ahead and change out the trans control module. I'm going to show you how complicated the actual trans control module is compared to a regular control module. It actually has shift fork motors in there that actually spline into the transmission and do the actual shifting of the gears. So you have to spline that in just right, and then you have to, of course, program it afterwards, and then relearn all the shift drums and the clutch and all that stuff, and program it. So we're going to get right to it. I'm going to show you around the car here in the cluster and the different areas of things that you may experience. And this is more of an informational video. It's not going to be, for customer repair. But just in case you think you're going through this, you can have a heads up of what to expect. The trans control module in this thing's $900 by itself. Luckily, this guy, being a 2011, it is covered under emissions warranty, actually. It says it's covered under emissions defect warranty, which is usually, at least $560, if not $880. So I was surprised to see it covered under emissions defect. So that's good for them, because it is very expensive. Now, the codes I was getting and the codes that are common is the P0700 TCM mill request. That means it's basically the TCM has a bunch of faults in it. It's requesting the mill to be on, the check engine light, so that actual PCM turns it on and alerts the driver. Now, the actual internal faults are a P0607 control module performance, which means it's just not performing right in general. Something's wrong with the very general basic condition code. And the other one that's actually the error is a P06B8. And that's internal non-volatile RAM error. It means the actual RAM inside of there is not holding, or it's always corrupted over and over again, even after a reflash of the actual trans control module. And then the other one is P0884, which is the actual power input, the actual positive power in the ground to the trans control module so it can work, is in its basically intermittent. It says the actual input signal is intermittent, which can also be, like I said, from those grounds being bad. That's why you got to take care of those grounds first. And I do have a whole video on that in great detail on how to check for the bolt head on there, make sure it has the 3 dots on it or whatever, 3-4 dots, and that's that design, and also how to clean the grounds and retest. Okay, so a few things you may notice when you have a bad PCM or TCM going bad that is not a power and ground issue is while I was just sitting here in park, the actual indicator for the trans indicator would keep going from park, reverse, neutral, and it's kind of flicker around. And then this one over here kept telling me the transmission is not in park, even though I'm driving along. And you got your foot on the brake. It's not doing it right now. Let me see if I can get to do it. Basically, the actual brake interlock solenoid here just keep clicking as long as your foot was in the brake. That's not right. And then also, I had a problem with the brake shift interlock solenoid in here not working at all, so I couldn't actually get it out of park. Also, you may hear the actual bunch of random clicking and actuating noises coming from the transmission. They're quite loud, just out of nowhere, just sitting here even with the key on, engine off. And also, while I was going along, the actual light came on, the actual check engine light, and those errors came up. I was driving along, it was just fine, around the parking lot, and as soon as you stop, and then you go to take off again, it actually would not even try to engage the transmission. It was already in failure mode when it happened, so it just kept going, but once I stopped, I was not able to move again. So that's just a couple different things you may notice, and of course your check engine light will be on. And here's the module itself, the trans control module, and you can see it's quite large, has lots of aluminum ribs on here. The whole thing's aluminum, obviously. For cooling, has 2 large connectors with tons of pins in them, and of course the actuator's on back, and you can see just why this thing is $900. And these have gone through multiple revisions. There's probably between 8 and 10 revisions to it, different part numbers. So they've been trying to fix these for a while, and like I said, the 2011s are the worst ones for these. And here's how it looks with the trans control module removed. You can see it splines into these with what they call clock gears right here, and that's how it shifts the actual transmission through its gears, and there's 2 of them. So like I said, if you have any of those weird electrical issues that have to do with the transmission like that, with the park indicator and the cluster going wacko, you got the clicking of the shifter here, and generally you can't get it out of park, stuff like that. You go to a stop and it's acting up and it won't move again until you cycle the key, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Stuff like that. Either it's those grounds, like I showed in the other video, clean those first, check them out, reset the system. If not, you're still repeating these codes or these symptoms, unfortunately we're looking at that trans control module. Like I said, it's more common on the 2011 Fiestas, the early builds, and they have a lot of faults on them. Actually, this one was on back order for a month waiting on this one, so they are definitely a known problem, and they got new ones out. Luckily, they're sending us new ones, not remands, so this should be all new inside of there and really fix the issue. But unfortunately, like I said, it's a $900 part. But this one was covered under emissions defect, so hopefully that is an 880 type situation, so that'll cover you for a long while here. So I just wanted to let you guys know the symptoms and what the fix is, because beyond the clutch and the oil seals leaking, there are other issues with these transmissions. The other one that's a major issue with these, besides this trans control module and the early ones, is the actual bearings on the input shaft. They actually go on there, so they cause a lot of noise also in different gears. So there's a few different issues. That bearing noise is not that common. The clutch issue is probably first. The ground issue is probably second. And I'm shaking here apparently. And third is the TCM, most common. And I'd say fourth or fifth, I don't know. It's pretty far down there, but is the bearings.